everybody, Pai-chan here, and on today's video, like I promised last time, I am going to be doing something a little different than anything that I've done before. As you know, by watching looking at my little show and tell things at the end of my videos, I'm actually a very crafty person, with me showing you my drawings and a few of the anime magnets I made. Well, and then also with my cosplay tips and tricks, let you know that I'm at least okay with sewing. And with that, I decided to do something related to that. Like I said, it's not an anime, but it is related to the otaku culture. And I'm talking about making a Sans from Undertale plushie. Well, just his body anyway. I'll do the clothes in the next few weeks. But after I go over making him, I'll give a little critiques for a few things that I would do next time. This is my first time making a plushie, by the way. So enjoy that. I hope you guys enjoy. Well, I start out by laying out the material and pinning everything in place. And yes, the material is folded so that there's 2 layers of fabric there. That is why you only see me pinning the pieces once at this point. And I'm telling you how many pieces you need of each while you're cutting as well. And unlike the others, the hand there, you need 4 pieces. Well, I'm done cutting out some of the pieces, and as you saw there, I showed you that while I was cutting out the darts on the back of for the back of the head, like I'm doing here with the feet, I cut out across the bottom first, and then I cut the triangle for the dart. And I continue cutting out the pieces until I reach the body. Now, if you're doing a smaller piece, which I will show you here in a minute, you do not want to cut out the legs because it makes it easier to sew if you don't, apparently. And with the hands, I've got 4 layers there, but you want to be careful with that because sometimes with the 4 layers, it'll get to where it hurts your hand a bit. Now I go and pull out the black material for the face and the eyes, and as you saw, I fold it over for the eyes so that, again, there's 4 layers there so that I can stitch them closed when I get to that point. And after I cut out the mouth, I grabbed a few scrap pieces of the white to cut out for his teeth, and then I cut off a bit of a rim so that I could border the white with black. Well, now on to sewing the eyes and the mouth for the face. And I just do a simple straight stitch for this, but make sure on the corners you're very careful and leave openings on the sides of all of them so that you can turn them. This part you don't need to stuff, and as you see me doing here, I'm cutting a little bit of the material down to the stitching so that it'll turn easier and lay flatter. Now here, I know I lost quite a bit of the footage of me sewing the mouth on, but here I am the teeth onto the mouth, but here I am sewing the rest of it to the face, and I'm just doing what's called a back stitch. It's an embroidery stitch where you stitch into one place, you go a little bit further, and then you come down where the stitch ends. And don't worry, I'm just kind of, with my mouth movements there, I'm just kind of biting my lip, and I do that when I'm concentrating. Now here I am doing the lines for the teeth, and again I'm doing a back stitch so that the lines so that it creates a continuous line and isn't broken up by anything. That's another thing you can use the back stitch for. I just also find it really good for when you are to make a really strong seam. And with the way the teeth are, I just winged it. I didn't have any set pattern for this part. Now for this, I'm showing you that yes, I did draw on the material, and I'm showing you the marker there and showing you that it is black. And then I go over and grab the package to show you that they are washable markers, and specifically Crayola brand. You do not want to go cheaper than that, or else when you put it in the washer, like I want to make him machine washable, they will not wash completely out. But I've left some on some white material for a while, black on there for a few months, and it's still first wash completely out, so don't worry about it. That's a cheaper way to do that. Now I am embroidering the nose here so that it looks better. And yes, I actually like the way the nose looks better than the mouth, or even the eye, or even the black parts of the eye. So like I get to at the end, I will probably embroider the next time I do Sans, which this is just the one that I'm doing for myself, so I wasn't that worried. I will probably embroider the entire face instead of doing the sewn pieces. I just think it looks a lot better for that. And you'll see what I mean here in a moment when I show you the nose compared to the rest of the mouth, compared to the mouth, and even the whites of the eyes compared to it as well. And again, there's me biting my lip. I do that when I concentrate, or you'll see me later on sticking my tongue out. That's another thing that I do that's just a subconscious thing that's just I do subconsciously. I don't even think about it. And like I said, I do it when I'm concentrating. And yes, I do know that I'm wearing just a plain black sweater. This was done over a few days, and I wanted it to go together to where it looked as seamless as possible. And yes, I do know this isn't quite the way you're supposed. That's not quite the way you're supposed to tie it off. But I found that with embroidery, but I found that works very well for me. And the way that I do it, you can't really see it anyway. Well, I guess you couldn't really see what it looked like. I went through it too fast. It went by too fast. And right here I'm just doing the lines for the under the eyes to make it look right, and I went up and back, that way I could tie it underneath the black so that it doesn't show after I get it done. And I'm just using, again, I am using the back stitch like I did for going around the eye sockets and around the mouth, as well as doing the lines for the teeth. And see, it looks a lot better. If you caught that, it did look a lot, the nose did look a lot better than the mouth. And you'll see it better at the end when I'm actually slowing everything down. I tried to pause for a while, but I wasn't quite sure how many times faster I was gonna do this. So I guess the next time I'll hold it up longer so that you guys can see it. And with this, I'm just doing a satin stitch where it's just I go over the space that I want to with as few stitches as possible, with it still staying pretty steady. And as you can see there, at the moment it kind of looks like he was doing his attack, and I kind of did that on purpose, just for fun. Even though it wasn't glowing red, it looked sort of like it. But I wanted it to be where during like the pacifist or good kid ending, so I did both eyes with the pupils in them, or whatever they are. Heck, it's monsters. They use magic, so that's probably there by magic. Okay, now we're finally on to the sewing. And you have to be very careful while doing this. How to do this head, I will probably do a link to where I got I know I'm going to do a link to where I got the patterns and everything, but a link to the 2 videos on how to do this head on a smaller scale for you, for those who just want to know, because it didn't turn out all that well for me. So, and here I'm just going around and just kind of matching up. And as I showed earlier, I did sew the darts in the back of the head. The little triangles are called darts. You just fold the bottom together and you just sew that up. But you want to make sure the seam is on the seam allowance will be on the inside of the head. You have to be careful for that while you're sewing these. You want to make sure all of them wind up on the correct side. Well, now I'm putting it together, and as you see, the head's together. And now we're doing the feet, and I know I skipped showing you me doing the darts on the feet and around the other foot, but here I am just clipping close to the seam line so that it lays flatter when I turn the pieces. So that's a little trick. And now here I am doing the arms, and unlike it shows on the pattern, I left the openings to turn it on the side. That way I don't have to sew it. I don't have to stuff it before I sew it in there. And as you see, I'm using the handle along the thumb so that I can get more precise angle while turning it. And again, I do snip it, and I snip between the thumb and the rest of the fingers as well to get it again to where it lays flat. And I turn these before I do the body, because as you see now, you have to put the arms inside the body before you sew it so that it goes right. And then you just line up the pieces and sew that. and sew it down. This is why I did the openings on the side, because if they were on, if you had to stuff it, it would have made it a lot harder. And as I showed you, you do not want to close up the legs, but the bottom of the legs, but you still want to have an opening there so that you can sew the feet on, as I'm doing now. Or the other part of the pattern is, it looks like the feet are just pegs. So I liked it with the sculpted feet better. That's just me. And here I am doing the back stitch again to hold the feet in place. This was a bit of a pain to get those aligned right, but I finagled it a little bit and it worked somewhat. The feet still wound up a little crooked, so I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to be. And as you can tell, it is getting pretty late in the morning if you look by the window there. And so I decided to wait until the next day to finally actually stuff everything. And here I am just doing the other foot, and after I got done doing that, I just flipped it back. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but that's alright. And here we go, grabbing the arms so that I can pull it through, so that I can turn it. And I'm using a crochet hook to smooth out the edges. Well, it's the next day, and I'm on to stuffing it, and I'm using the eraser end of that one of the sewing colored pencils that I have so that I can get it in there. And here I am using a whip stitch, which is just where you go through one side, up and around, and through the same. I think I stuffed the things a little too much to be able to do what people normally use, which is called a ladder stitch, but I'm alright with how it turned out. Most of the places that I put the whip stitch anyway is gonna have clothing over it anyway. And there you go, arms are done. And yes, I did skip doing the first one because it was pretty much exactly the same as the second one. So I didn't think it would be good to show me doing both. Now here I am stuffing the legs. I found that doing the legs made it easier to get the rest of it. That way I could just grab big handfuls of stuffing and get it in there and not have to worry about getting it down into the little bit of the legs. And I packed this guy pretty freaking full because I like my stuffed animals and stuff pretty firm. But that's just me. Now here I am closing up this, getting ready, putting a little bit more stuffing in there, and then closing up this side again. Which closing up the holes for turning and stuffing was a little bit of a pain, but it was worth it in the end because I liked the way he wound up stuffed. And if you want to, after you get it stuffed, I didn't show it here, but you can maneuver the stuffing a little bit to get it to where you want to go if you find that one part is more stuffed than you would like, but another part is not as stuffed as you would like. So you do have a little bit of leeway, but not much. And again, here I am just doing a simple whip stitch. So just pretty much with this, just
find what works for you. I found this worked for me, so that's what I did.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that little bit that I did. And yes, my hair was different. It's because this piece right here would probably get in the way while I was working. And then also a braid is just more comfortable for me anyway. Well, let's get on to this guy here. As you saw with his face, the mouth has a few different parts to him along with the eyes. Next time, I would probably just embroider everything on. And yes, he still has this hole up here. That is for when I put his shirt on. If I need to, I can just take some of the stuffing out, and then after everything is on, I could just stuff it again before closing it up. And yes, I do realize that you can see the seam here, okay, but I was trying, and here on his head too. I know I didn't, the video for this one, it messed up somehow, so you didn't really see that. But I would probably practice a little bit more, but his arms are going to be covered up anyway, so I'm not that worried about. And this one's going to be my plushie, so nah. And then also I'd probably do, well, maybe not for Sans, because I like the proportion with this for him, but for other characters that I'm going to do, I'm going to make his head a little smaller. Well, as always, everybody, like, comment, and subscribe for more videos coming soon. And yes, I am planning on doing a few other Undertale characters, which I will film for you. I will film for you guys. I'm not going to film me doing Sans again, and yes, I am going to do it again. I am going to do another one of them, though I'm not going to keep that one. I'm going to do one for my niece like I promised her. Well, after that explanation, my DeviantArt and Twitter account will be down in the description if you want to go and check them out. I haven't gotten anything new up on my DeviantArt account yet, but I am planning on doing that relatively soon. Well, thanks everybody. See ya!